My name is Nikki Deslack, and I'm the founder of Create Conservatory, a school in Leesburg that teaches STEM education through arts integration. You can learn more by visiting our website at www.createconservatory.com. In today's Picasso to Go lesson, in collaboration with the Leesburg Public Library, we're continuing the second lesson in our two-part series all around water. Last time that we got together, we learned about the water cycle through a book called Drop, and we made our own water cycles in a bag that we can hang on the window and watch the water cycle process. So if you haven't had a chance to do that lesson, please do go ahead and get it and experiment with that and see what happens. Today we're going to talk about water scarcity, and there's some really great vocabulary words in this lesson. Parents and guardians, if you guys want to extend this lesson out and do some work on the vocabulary, we're going to talk today a little bit about rituals, heritage, drought, and superstition. So those are our 4 key vocabulary words today that if you wanted to go ahead and create some extension activities around that, you can. So today we're going to read an excerpt, just a small portion from the book Bringing the Rain to Kapiti Plain. And then we are going to be creating our own rain stick. And we'll talk a little bit about the rituals and the heritage behind rain sticks in just a little bit here. But without further ado, let's go ahead and read our book. This book is a great book. It is a non-detail. Lots of countries in South America believe that if you pierce a cloud with an arrow, it will make it rain. So we know from our drop book and from our learning through the water cycle that that's not actually how rain is created, right? But that's part of their superstitions and their rituals, which are all a part of their heritage. So, bringing the rain to Kapiti Plain. This is the great Kapiti Plain, all fresh and green from the African rains, a sea of grass for the ground birds to nest in, and patches of shade for her wild creatures to rest in, with acacia trees for giraffes to browse on, and grass for the herdsmen to pasture their cows on. But one year the rains were so very belated that all of the big wild creatures migrated. Then Kaipat helped to end that terrible drought, and this story tells how it all came about. This is the cloud all heavy with rain that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. This is the grass all brown and dead that needed the rain from the cloud overhead, the big black cloud all heavy with rain that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. These are the cows all hungry and dry, who mooed for the rain to fall from the sky to green up the grass all brown and dead that needed the rain from the cloud overhead, the big black cloud all heavy with rain that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. And now I'm going to skip toward the end of our book. It's a fabulous book, but I want to make sure we have time to get to our rain sticks. So we're gonna skip to the end. This is the bow so long and strong and strung with string, a leather thong, a bow for the arrow Kaipat put together with a slender stick and an eagle feather, from the eagle who happened to drop a feather that helped to change the weather. It fell near Kaipat, who watched his herd, and he stood on one leg, like the big stork bird. Kaipat, whose cows were so hungry and dry, they mooed for the rain to fall from the sky, to green up the grass all brown and dead that needed the rain from the cloud overhead, the big black cloud all heavy with rain that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. This was the shot that pierced the cloud and loosed the rain with thunder loud, a shot from the bow so long and strong and strung with a string, a leather thong, a bow for the arrow Kaipat put together with a slender stick and an eagle feather, from the eagle who happened to drop a feather that helped to change the weather. It fell near Kaipat, who watched his herd, as he stood on one leg like the big stork bird. Kaipat, whose cows were so hungry and dry, they mooed for the rain to fall from the sky, to green up the grass all brown and dead that needed the rain from the cloud overhead, the big black cloud all heavy with rain that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. So the grass grew green and the cattle fat, and Kaipat got a wife and a little Kaipat, who tends the cows now and shoots down the rain when black clouds shadow Kapiti Plain. Great illustrations in this book. I absolutely love it. Fantastic book, totally worth checking out so that you can read the whole thing. Sorry, it's just an excerpt for today, but it's a really lovely story. So we're pretty lucky here. We live in Florida, probably most of us watching this, and it's important that we have rain so that we don't have a drought. But when we don't have rain, we have things like sprinklers and hoses, and we just turn on our sinks and get water, right? But not everybody in the whole world is as lucky as we are here. And so there are countries and places all around the world where when it doesn't rain for quite a long time, they have much bigger problems. And so lots of cultures created superstitions and rituals, and it's all part of their heritage or their belief system. It's the background of their culture. And so in our story, Kai Pat was able to pierce a cloud with an arrow. He shot an arrow up into the sky, and they believed that that would make it rain. And so one of the other things that we're going to look at today is that a lot of places around the world, including Chile, which is where this is very popular, are rain sticks. And so some people believe that if you build a rain stick and you use it, it will encourage the rain to come, because the rain will hear the other rain, and it will all sort of work together to make it rain. So you should have some supplies with you. You can use a paper towel roll, will work just fine. I have just sort of an empty shaped tube like that. I've already sort of started to decorate mine just to expedite our process today. The other thing you're going to want to fill it with are some things that will make a noise. So you have some choices. Today I've used mostly rice and a couple of little dried up beans. Obviously, the heavier the object, the quicker it's going to fall through your tube. And parents and guardians, this is a great time to introduce the engineering design process. So we talk about what we use within this and how it changes the sound. And if we want the sound to change, how can we change what we put in here? So obviously we have some rice and a couple of beans in here, but if we just do that and turn it upside down, they're just all gonna plunk down in one big long boop, right? That doesn't really sound like rain. So we wanna put some other things into this tube. You'll note I have this side already taped off with something. You can use a piece of fabric or a piece of paper and a rubber band just to close that other side off. And then in here, in addition to the rice and a couple of beans, you can use lentils, you can use popcorn kernels that aren't popped, lots of options here. You're gonna wanna put some other things in there. So today I'm using some tin foil that I just crumpled up and then kind of twisted into a spiral. Kind of looks like my hair. That looks cute. So twist it up, aluminum foil, but you can use cotton balls, you can try pipe cleaners. If you're an older student or you have a parent who wants to venture down this road, you can also try pushing toothpicks through the pipe cleaner. Obviously you'll have some sharp ends on the side and that takes a bit of force, so I might only do that with older kiddos. I'm going to take my twisted aluminum foil and I'm just going to go ahead and put it down here. And the fun part about making these rain sticks is going through that engineering design process. So I have put my other tin foil in here. I'm going to go ahead and take my other fancy, I just used some crumpled up tissue paper, but you guys can do whatever you want to. A lot of times what we find is that traditional and customary rain sticks will have feathers like they do in the story there. They'll include paint. You can paint the outside or put some jewels on there. So I have inside there my aluminum foil. It's all twisted and spirally. Actually I have two of those, some rice and a couple of beans. And then I'm just going to go ahead and tip this. And so my rain doesn't last really long, so I might want to think about, oh, that time it was a little better. I might want to think about what else can I put in here that might slow that rain down a little bit. So that's all the fun part that you guys get to play around with at home. So you can figure out what can we put in there that might make the rain last longer, what might make it sound louder, what would make it go quieter, things like that. So that's all part of the fun behind the engineering design process as you create your rain sticks. Would love to see some of the rain sticks that you come up with. So leave them in the comments, drop some pictures, maybe some video with your audio so we can hear what your rain sticks sound like. And again, that all ties back into our water unit where we talked about the water cycle last week. This week, our main vocabulary would be drought, superstition, rituals, heritage. We talked about how some cultures believe you can shoot an arrow up into the clouds. I didn't want to do that as a lesson though. And rain sticks, which are a huge part of beliefs in lots of countries and areas all over the world, but especially in Chile. So, hope you enjoyed this lesson with our Picasso to Go series. Make a rain stick, make it rain, and leave it in the comments. We would love to see them. I hope you're all wonderful. Have a great day.